Good afternoon. So I missed putting together a video yesterday. I mean, life happens. I didn't end up getting home until late, and right now I'm doing it on my lunch break for my 9 to 5. Um, and so I did go ahead at 5 yesterday and mark up the different levels that I was going to be looking at for the evening time. Um, and so we'll see how everything played out. At some point in time, I'll have to go back through for this past week and see on average, number one, how many of the candles went in the direction that I expected. And then if I was given an opportunity to get in, how many of those were successful, how many were not. Um, Once again, the problem with a daily 30-minute time frame is the fact that generally most of those entries are 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and so those wouldn't be my time frames to be trading in. But once again, it's just a proof of concept. I just need to continue to prove to myself um, that is viable. So looking on the daily um, right now. And sorry about that. Oh, just like life, people came home. So looking at the daily, going through, we have uh, the candle from yesterday moving up. We expect it to close bullish, but we'll see how that goes. GBP USD, same thing, expected that one to go up as well. USD CAD, expected that one to go down. GBP JPY, expected to go up. Another up. So we'll see how all these ones go. Let's get down to the 30 minutes and actually see if, even though it looks like they are not closing where I expected them to, would they have given me an entry? So like this one, given my 30-minute location on the previous candle, I really don't have much to work with outside of this just small little blip in price action, in the way the market moved. But it does sort of line up with this previous resistance. So that's not bad. Unfortunately, we only have about 4 hours left before this candle closes. So the likelihood of this candle closing bullish is very, very low. With that being said, is it possible the next candle will close bullish and this is just a pause, very similarly to what we saw in the 30-minute? Yes, it's possible. And given the location on where it may close, which may be here for the next daily candle to start, giving a wick rejection in this area and then continuing up, that's still not a bad area to look for possible entries on the 30-minute. So going to keep that zone in there and then also see what the daily looks like once it does close. So GBP USD does not look like anything came into that as far as the daily. We did get a rejection off the first hit into that zone, but then no follow up there. Once again, I'm going for double bottoms, head and shoulders, wick rejections. I threw in the idea of possible three soldiers or three black crows. I'm not really pretty keen on that, only because of the way that those candles, when they present themselves, that they're already pushed a good bit at that point in time. And so we'll see how that works out. So no entry there. Once again, I was looking at particular areas up in here for 50% retracement. This is a little bit lower, probably around the 382. We have a viable area here that also lines up on the 30-minute with other particular structure. We do get wick rejections here. If you were in the multiple wick rejections and that was an entry, then by all technicality, chances are you'd be in the trade, but it still hasn't gone anywhere yet. So see how that works. CAD JPY. This would be the one I was playing with as far as the three soldiers or three black crows. Three soldiers are three consecutive candles closing higher above the previous high, and then an entry. And then the three black crows are just the inverse of that, the reverse of that on the sell side. So I was looking at that and I was like, okay, is this a viable thing given the particular zone? This would be around the 382 level, maybe a little bit before 382 level, but I was looking at the 50% level there. Euro USD, same thing. It looks like we came into this area, we got some wick rejection. So much like USD CAD, if the wick rejections were enough to get you in, you'd be in this right now, and then just waiting for whatever plays out. So not seeing anything on any of these other ones. GBP CAD sort of did play out, but there really was nothing there unless you take into some other entry pattern, maybe an engulfing candle in the zone or anything like that. But other than that, that's about it. Depending on your risk to reward ratio, or your risk to reward would tell you whether or not you would have hit profit on this one. So just once again, playing out particular areas and seeing how everything plays out. This one being entry based upon the multiple wick rejections, strong wick rejections, and then you actually have what I would consider an engulfing candle on the bullish side going up, and so would technically still be in this trade. Still, once again, going with the 1 to 1.2 or 1 to 1.25 based upon my small accounts. The testing for this proof of concept is for a 1 to 3, and I don't think I've actually put any particular trades on the 1 to 3 as of yet. Although looking back at this one with the double bottom there, that would have been a 1 to 3 that would have made it. So maybe I erased it off here after I was done, but either way, I'll have to go back and check that to see, given a 30-minute time for or daily candle, 30-minute zone, particular price action patterns based upon the 50% zone, like would I have gotten an entry and how did it do? USD JPY, same thing, double bottom, although you'd still be stuck in this trade as of right now. So today I did plot out my couple 4 hours. I was expecting USD JPY to come down. So on the 5-minute, I had a zone at this level here. And given wick rejections, could have been in on that one. If I'm doing the particular stops and targets, that probably would have hit it at a 1.25. So that would have worked, even though the candle is going to be, it looks more likely going to be closing bullish. You can see you can still hit targets. You can still hit targets even though the candle may not close exactly the way you expected it to. So that was GBP JPY or USD JPY. Moving on to GBP JPY. Expecting a close on that one. That this position marker was for the daily 30-minute time frame. So going down to the 5-minute, we have the zone up here for the 5-minute. It does not look like you would have gotten anything from there. You would be in the trade and more than likely stopped out depending on where you put your stops and targets. So a trade like this would have looked roughly about the same as the other one. It stops a little bit above the zone, going for a 1 to 2.5. And so this would have just come back out and stopped you out before just hovering around the entry. GBP CAD. GBP CAD. Don't think I marked up because of the indecision candle. Didn't have a solid anything, but as you can tell, if you're expecting the next candle to answer to the previous candle the way the previous candle closed, it looks like you would have been viable. And the question is, would you have been able to get an entry in there? One of the things I have been playing with as well is when you have wick areas like this, 50% of the wick. And so if we were to do something like that and do about 50% of the wick, what does that look like on the 5-minute time frame? And so you come down here and, leaving out stuff to the left, what do you have? Well, you have a level here that you can work with, or another possible straight resistance area here. So then the question is, what does that, how did that play out? And so you have multiple wick rejections in and around this area. Would that have been viable enough for a trade? That's completely and totally up to you. And That's have to be something that you track. But as you can see, 50% of a wick area also gives a relatively good zone to work with as a possible entry whenever you're dealing with wiki candles. GUPAUD. I did not mark up this one. It would have been 50% after the open, dropping down to the 5. What did 50% give us? 50% gave us some levels here to work with, and then was not respected, rejected once, but then just completely broke through. And that would be one of the benefits of multiple wicks or double bottoms, double tops, 3-wick rejection, things like that. Instead of just shooting off of one wick, making sure that there is multiple stalls within the area before getting into a trade, because sometimes you'll have things like this. So, but it's all part of your testing. I mean, if you test and you find out that the majority of the time you end up still being successful, even off of a one wick entry, then that is just your trading style and you should move forward with it. Euro USD, expecting my candle to go down. The candle did go down. Looks like I was looking at retracement, but when we drive down to the 5, it just didn't line up with anything nice. So I have the entry here as well as this area here, but it looks like unless you made a wider zone, this probably would have been a little too jumbled to be confident enough to take the trade. Add JPY. Expecting the candle to go down. Looks like I do have a level in there. That level is actually really high, only because of the way price played out. So given this, you have a 382 area here, no double wick rejections, ended up moving the zone up as price played out. And now you would have a couple wick rejections. You got a strong one there, and possibly there. Could this have been an entry? Yes, it could have. You still had to have your stops above this high here. How much would have been enough to not be pegged out of this? Don't know. But I didn't get an entry. USD CAD, expecting this candle to close bullish, but it does not look like it'll be doing so. Had a particular zone drawn in there for this level here. Although it looks like it actually did come further down, which would have been more towards the 50% range on this one. And then, yeah, no entry based upon my entry criterias for that one. GPUSD, expecting to go down. Had a particular zone based upon the previous candle here. Got a couple wick rejection into it, and then a break back down. If I'm looking for particular levels of where things play out, then this fits a double top rule. The amount of heavy impulse pushes into this area, though, probably would have kept me out, just because I wouldn't have trusted it after it broke through this zone here. And then finally, odd USD. So odd USD, I did not mark up because of the doji candle wicks on both sides. So I was not looking into this as an entry reason. But once again, if we are looking at the wick, 50% of the wick, then what does that look like down here on this lower time frame? For this, you would have gotten maybe that, or you don't really have much there. This is prior candle. This is current candle. And that would be the only spot you have there. You have no reaction time when it comes through here to give you anything else. Even though it looks like it would have worked out in the future if that was the zone you were looking at, it probably wouldn't have been on my radar at all, because of the fact that it would have been using a previous candle, and I have a much cleaner resistance support area up here. Um, so that never would have been an actual trade. So as it sits, that's pretty much it. I'll be marking up everything later on this evening when 5 o'clock hits, and then I'll go from there. Continue on down this trek, and probably won't have, if I put it together another video tonight, it'll just be looking at the particular zone since I've already gone over what happened uh, from yesterday's trade, since I didn't do one last night. So we will see how everything plays out. Until then, take care and have fun trading.